an idea that we've been kind of hovering over um, on the main show on Officially Casually for a while, and then I think very recently we got to a good spot on was the idea of kind of like putting more emphasis on the journey as opposed to the end goal. To um, falling in love, so to speak, with the path that we've chosen to get to wherever it is that we want to go, as opposed to putting all the emphasis on getting to wherever it is that we want to go. And we have we delved into the topic in quite a few different ways, but I feel like we didn't really have almost like a way in which we could really put it into words. And somewhat recently we found this perspective of, instead of calling goals to call them projects. And it's kind of funny because it's just a simple change of a word, but it almost changes like the whole perspective and the whole meaning of it. That in changing the concept from a goal, from this thing that almost feels like it's very hard set, and that if we don't make it, if it doesn't succeed, then it's a failure, and all these things. When you switch it over to project instead, then suddenly you're in a position in which it's just something you're doing. It's something you're working on right now. And maybe you're not going to be working on it tomorrow. Maybe today you're excited about it, and then maybe tomorrow you're bored about it. But it almost like relieves so much weight from it, of how it is supposed to play out, how it is supposed to end up, and how other people should see it, and all these things that suddenly it's like, again, just a thing that you're doing. It's almost like a hobby. And so it seems like just from that, there's this interesting idea that if we look at the way in which we are approaching life, the way in which we are making decisions, and the way in which we're kind of like guiding and trying to define where it is that we want to go, and that we want to, and I guess that we don't want to go. When we change the name of that to more like a project or like a hobby, it then puts our life in a situation in which it feels like more like we're riding a wave through life, like we're flowing through in a direction, and that suddenly we're now no longer fighting the stream, but we're going with the stream, and the stream is going with us. That suddenly the two things are not at odds with each other. They're kind of like flowing together. And that, sure, there's going to be a bunch of projects that you're going to start and you're not going to end, and that is completely and perfectly fine. And those projects are somehow going to lead into new, more interesting things, and new, more interesting things that you could be doing. That's the other thing about the change of the word, that it makes it more sort of like fun, as opposed to this more fixed thing, or more win or lose kind of like concept that goes along with the idea of goals. That a project is, way more loose, way more relaxed. And so it's been something that has been very powerful for us very recently. And it's definitely going to be something that we're going to continue to explore, because I think there's definitely a lot more to it, and a lot more to figure out in realms of, in the general space of things that we want to do, things that we want to achieve, and how we want to kind of like flow through life, and the things that we want to do, that I feel like just by changing goals to projects, we've made a huge kind of like leap in how we approach things that we've wanted to do, and how easy has been to jump into some of those things that before they seemed like a little bit more difficult, or that it seemed like we needed to have everything settled and perfect before we started. And now it feels more like, hey, you know what? Let's just do things. Let's just put things out there. Let's just share things that we enjoy. And wherever that leads is wherever that leads. We don't have to be vested in how this plays out tomorrow. We just have to be vested in just doing something today, or doing something in this moment. And the next moment, we'll see how we feel.